when girls go on dates, there's the type of girls that are like, oh, I hope he likes me.
Mm-hmm.
When she was like, that's the first red flag, because the first thing you should think is, I hope I like him,
Mm-hmm.
not I hope he likes me. Like,
that's why if I can't trust you to not put your ideals on my child, I'm not gonna send them around you. And then that's where we're gonna also have an issue.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like me, I'm not gonna like you because of the family you're getting into. Because you don't want that to impact your life in the future and your children, because it will.
hi,
I'm Chelsea.
I'm Angelica.
Together we're
Two random girls.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be talking about questions to ask yourself before getting married. Would it be married or like engaged? Both, right?
Yeah, we're married, engaged, staying in a relationship.
Yeah. So the first question that we're supposed to ask ourselves is, if he was your son, would you be proud of him or be honored of how he is and stuff? Oh, by the way, we got this from a TikToker. I don't know her name, but
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Listen to you.
But yes, would we be honored? So the first question is, if he was your son, would you be proud of him or would you be honored of the person that he is? By him, we mean like the significant other, the husband or the girlfriend, or like just would you be proud if they were your child? Mm-hmm. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You go first.
I think this is an important one just because I'm just like, you know how mainly sometimes when something happens to a significant other, you're like, bro, I wish I could tell your mom, or like like your mom, like, no way that you're doing this, and you don't think about like your mom as a female figure or something like that. So I'm just like, if I had a son, I would want him to be like such a good guy. And I think it's like, it's more of a fact that like you should ask yourself if he's a good guy, that you would be proud, like everything, that the way that he's treating you, you would be proud. Oh, well, I think of it more like, if I was my daughter, would I be happy? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think of it like, it's like if you raised him, like if your son turned out to be him and you raised him, would you be proud that you raised him?
Yeah.
So like, I feel like that's a really important question, because it just means like, I think it really means like, does the significant other, does the person have the qualities that you would want to instill in your child because they matter to you, you know?
Yeah.
Not like the significant other is like your child or anything, but just like, I think it just really is trying to say like, do your values, your beliefs, do they align?
Yeah.
And is it,
That's true. Mm-hmm.
are they someone that you could be just proud to be with? Things you don't have to hide things from other people. Like,
Heavy on that, yeah.
Like you're proud to be with them. I think that's what I get from that.
Yeah, that's true. And also like, I think also asking yourself, I think this is also like asking yourself like, would you be happy to introduce them to like family and friends? Yeah. Because like, if I was watching the TED Talk that I was telling you about, but she was basically saying that her number one rule is that you have to introduce your significant other to your family and friends. She said between the first and fifth date, because apparently that's when like you could fall hard for somebody. So like, if you're in your mind, you're like, oh, I don't want to introduce him to my family or to my friends. They were like, then why
are you with him?
Yeah, why are you with him?
Okay.
And then so basically she was saying that we have to trust our family and friends because they love us, instead of being like, oh, they're just jealous, they don't have a good relationship. Or they said something that was like, they were like, what's it called? They don't have a good relationship, they're just jealous, or they don't know how he is with me. And I was like, they don't know how he is with me, but your friends and family love you. I'm talking to an anonymous source right now, but I'm like, they love you, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like, in what she meant with the first and 5 dates, it's like, if you should always, I feel like they're easier to listen to someone when they're not in love, because once you fall in love, like, love blinds you to anything. So like, yes, ask yourself if he's your like if he was your son, would you be proud of him? But also like, would your mom like the way he's treating you? Would your dad be like, yeah, that's the man I want for my daughter?
Mhm.
Like I feel like it like goes hand in hand, you know?
Yeah, I think that's very true.
The second question is, would you change anything about him right now? Because usually the lady on TikTok was saying, explaining how girls usually fall in love with men like a potential instead of like the reality, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
I think that's really very, very true. Girls are just tend to be daydreamers or whatever, and they tend to pick like a couple good qualities in someone, and then they kind of create them to be
Yeah.
like only be those qualities.
Wait, was it you that you were like, this isn't build a man?
Yeah.
That was so funny. I was done. But for real, because I feel like that's what we tend to do. We tend to build a man in our head. Like, there was like many times in the past where I was like, oh my god, I like this man so much. But in reality, did I know anything about that man? No, like I probably knew a few little things that I liked, and then the rest I was like, oh, I could change this, yeah. Or I'm like, oh, he's this, but heavy on the daydreaming. Like, not even, or yeah, the potential, because I'm like, no, in my head, this is how he's gonna be with me, or this is how he would act if he was with me. When literally it's like the opposite, you know? So I feel like girls do fall in love a lot with potential, and again, like the TED Talk that I was watching, there was the lady was saying how there was an example of a girl saying like, oh, every time I get with a guy, they never want to have children, and she was saying how in this
Mm-hmm.
generation there's only like Peter Pan guys, which are like kids that don't want to grow up, men that don't want to grow up. And then she was like, I just wish I knew what the problem was. And they told her the problem is that you, instead of falling in love with someone that you know wants the same things as you fall in love with like Peter Pans, and then obviously you want to change them, but why? If they're happy like that, like, why are you trying to date someone that's not doing like this, not like wanting the same things as you? And I feel like girls just like, they're like in the beginning, they're like, oh, okay, maybe he doesn't want to have kids right now, but in the future he'll want to have kids, yeah. Instead of like, bro, he's telling you, like most of the time men are just honest, and like I feel like girls are more like, oh, but he'll change for me, or he'll do this for me, and I think most of the time they don't change.
I think a lot of times men, they might be honest, they might just say what they want, and then we could hear what we want, but I do also think there are a lot of men
That lie, yeah.
that they just lie. They lie
That's true
just to
too.
get what they want. They say things and then they don't mean it, and then you're the one that's left like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Because you're a liar.
Yeah. Also, she also said that she was saying how when girls go on dates, there's the type of girls that are like, oh, I hope he likes me.
Mhm.
When she was like, that's the first red flag, because the first thing you should think is, I hope I like him,
Mhm.
not I hope he likes me. Like, why are you gonna be with someone just because they like you?
That's true.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, that's tough, because every time I used to go on dates, that's the first thing I thought of, like, oh, I hope he likes me, which is crazy because we don't even love ourselves when we're saying that. Like, damn. And then she was also saying how there's the other type of girl that's like, oh, okay, this is what I want. I want a guy who da 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 da, right? And so the guy, in order to just get her pants, is like, oh yeah, da 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 da, yeah. So then I was like, you can't really win, can you?
I feel like maybe there's like a middle ground. Like I think we could win. It just, yeah. I heard that there was somebody, I don't remember where I seen this from, but it was like you just kind of have to like, don't tell somebody exactly everything that you want, because then a lot of people could just pretend to be that for the first couple of months, and then after they get you, you're in love or whatever, then they show you like
Their
who they
true
really
selves,
are.
yeah.
And no, actually, that's a really common thing. A lot of people apparently pretend to be what the other person wants. I hear so many things on Twitter. Like, I think Taylor Swift even sang that on a song one time.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'll try to find it if she did.
She was like, I'll be the girl you want for a couple of months. I don't know if she was being sarcastic because that's what people said she was doing, or she was being serious, but I know a lot of people do that. But that's the thing, it goes back to like the fact that people just want to like people, just to like someone. They want to be in a relationship, just to be in a relationship. They want to love just to love. And I think that's what it is.
Or sometimes also like they want to be in that relationship, like from coming from like a girl that daydreams. Sometimes I'm like, bro, I used to be like, I'll do anything to be in that relationship, but for what? Just because in my idea and like in my head that idea was great. Like no matter what, I would have, or like especially when I was younger. Like when I was in middle school, I used to have this crush on this guy. You know, that crazy.
Yeah.
I used to have this crush on this guy, and in my head, I would be like, I would do anything. Like I would be anything he would want me to be. Like I went to this really white school. Really quick, this is for another podcast, the story. But I went to this really white school, and the guy used to wear Under Armour sweatshirts, and I used to go to Under Armour to buy those hoodies. Bro, what? I don't even dress like that at all. And I used to like do anything like to make him like me. And I'm just like, for what? Like I would have been the girl he wanted me to be just to be in that relationship. And I didn't even know how he is or like anything like that. And I think sometimes like boys do it, I mean, to get in your pants, but also they're like, damn, I bagged this girl, like I'll be whatever she wants me to be until I get tired and go to somebody else. Which is crazy. Because that'd be crazy for real.
Crazy.
You want to say the third one?
Oh yeah, let's go. So the third question is, if something were to happen, would I trust him to take care of my kids and be active? Because like you might as well be a single parent if you don't trust him to take care of your kids properly.
That's crazy.
No, that really is. Because a lot of women, they
don't think about that.
Yeah, and they're with somebody, like they have kids with somebody or whatever, and they're not a good, like their partner is not a good parent, and they actually end up being a single parent in a relationship. And I think it's much harder to be a single parent in a relationship than it is to just be a regular single parent.
Yeah, because I think it also like gives a bad idea to the kids. Like if I'm just seeing my mom or my dad being like the only one doing anything, I'm like, damn, like why are you even with him for real? And I think a lot of women or like even men, like about the girl, like if she would be a good mom, they don't ask themselves that questions because there's a lot of parents like still, or also it was like more of like a cultural thing. I think like back in the day it was more like, you know, girls are supposed to do everything for the kids and the men just lay back. So in Spanish it's like a machista thing. I don't know, is it in English it has a thing, right? Machista? No, okay, I'm being super sorry. Well, in Spanish it's called machista. It's like the men are like, oh, you're supposed to be doing that. Like, I'm not supposed to do anything, right? But also, like, nowadays, that's like less seen as okay. But I feel like just girls in general don't ask themselves, like, oh, is he gonna be a good dad? Most of them just are like, oh, okay, I want him to stay with me, so I'm gonna make him a dad. And, like, that was not your choice to make. Like, well, it is your choice because it's your body, but I'm like, at least talk to him and ask him, like, would you want to be a dad? Or like, or do you even think it's a good relationship to bring a child in? Like, I just don't know. I feel like they don't ask themselves this question.
I think like for like baby daddy, baby mama culture, that's like a very, that's a question that should be asked. But like even in like serious relationships and marriages, they say a lot of times people want kids, men want kids, but they don't really want what
comes with kids.
They want to be like a basically like a aunt or an uncle. Like even though while living in the same house, like they want the mom to do basically everything to actually raise the kid, and they don't really take part in active participant. They don't play an active participant. Like even if you're like a stay-at-home mom is like, it's a full-time job, and it's even like more than a full-time job because you never get a break. You're always there.
Yeah, literally.
And like they'll come home from work, they're like, oh well, I'm working, you're just staying home or whatever. But it's not just that. And when they come home from work, they don't even help the mom.
And like I don't know why they think it's like an easy job, because like there's people that are nannies or are babysitters and they get paid for it. That's their job. So a stay-at-home mom is a full-time nanny. Like it's a job. And like a lot of boys like are like, oh, but I'm over here slaving myself or like doing all this and you're home, like, but it's still not a, I think what it is that it's not as rewarding as like other occupations. Like a lot of people are just like, oh, like, well, you're a stay-at-home mom, and that doesn't make the mom feel any type like of better. That's why they have like the little mommy group chats, because they understand each other. I feel like most men don't understand how hard it is to just be a stay-at-home mom, and they like degrade them in a way, because they're like, oh, but you don't do anything, and it should be like the opposite. It should be like men like worshiping these girls, like being like, thank you for being a good mother, because good mothers are hard to find. Like good mothers are so hard to find. There's so many. Like I'd be going to the mall and like these moms just like with the baby snot all over, not clean. Looks like she hasn't showered the little damn baby in a while. Meanwhile, she's over here in a shopping spree for 5 hours. The baby over here crying. That makes me so mad. I'm sorry, but like
I saw that in New York too. That we were walking and this lady was being so mean to her son.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did. It was really nothing. She was cursing at him and everything, screaming at him in the middle of the thing, in the middle of the street. I was like, yo, I felt so bad for that little boy. He was like 2 or 3 years old.
And like you never know, like, and I just feel like having a good wife, or having a good wife that's a good mom too, is something that you should be like on your knees, like, thank you God, because they're hard to find, as well as like a good husband and stuff like that. So I think this question, I feel like, I don't know, I think out of all of them, I think this is one of the most important ones. If you want a family, like if you want to get married and have a family, I think this is one of the most important ones, because personally, one of my main goals is to have a family. So why would I want a husband that wouldn't be a good dad?
Yeah, that I wouldn't trust to leave with my kids.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people, they have a husband but they don't have a partner, or they have a wife but they don't have a partner. A marriage has to be a partnership, or it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And you have to put in equal effort. Maybe you can't always put in equal effort, but when you can't always put in equal effort, the other person has to be willing to take on like a little bit more, but like not forever, you know?
Yeah, literally. That's why I've seen like TikToks about how sometimes like obviously you can't put 50-50, but sometimes like let's say it's this couple, they're older, and then she would be like, I'm at 25%. So then the husband has to put the rest and be like more attentive, because she's like not at her 100. But if she's like at 90 and he's at 10, then she's more. But they do it like that. And I feel like they have to, because it can't always be one-sided. Because even though you're not supposed to be like comparing yourself, like, oh, but I do this and you don't do that. Like apparently you're not supposed to do that. But it's human nature. Like at the end of the day, if I'm the one doing everything, I'm gonna be like, bro, like you have to do something. Because obviously I'm not gonna be happy with just me giving my 100 all the time and him like 0.
And I think it's not fair to say that people can't like compare like what they're doing. It's like if you're at a job and you're doing, or if you're working at school, like if you have a group and you're all doing a project together, if you're doing everything on the project, you're gonna be upset, and you're probably gonna tell someone, to tell the teacher or something. Then why are you gonna get the same grade? You know,
literally.
If you're I'm the one doing all the work, I don't think it's fair for me to not say anything.
Yeah.
I
I also don't think it's fair, but a lot of like relationship podcasts or whatever, they're always like, you can't compare yourself, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna lie, I always do. Like if I feel like I'm doing something and you're not, maybe if I don't say it, I'm always thinking it, because like.
And who is that helping?
Yeah.
Because you're always thinking, it's gonna lead to resentment. And also, if you're always thinking and not saying anything, it's gonna lead to what? To not only the degradation of the relationship, but also like you're just gonna be stuck like that. You're not gonna change, because they don't know that
How you feel.
And maybe you don't have to say, hey, I do this, I do this, I do that. But maybe you could be like, oh, like
put a little more.
Put more a little effort. And it's also just like they should know that you don't like doing everything while they're doing nothing.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's why I don't really agree with that one where they're like, oh, you shouldn't. Ooh, wow. But sorry, I was stretching. But like you shouldn't like. I feel like that's just like them saying like, don't talk about your feelings. You know, like you shouldn't tell them how you feel, or like if you feel like you're doing more. But I think that's something natural that anyone would feel, like, or like would realize.
Yeah.
like I feel like you can't just be like, oh, don't compare, and like you won't like. Obviously, you'll realize if you're doing more than someone, right?
Yeah.
You want to say anything more about that question, or should I go to the fourth one?
I guess like maybe just like weaponizing conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that's also a thing as to why some women don't trust their husbands with their kids. Because it's like you could ask them to do something and they're gonna like not do it well, act like they don't know how to do it, ask questions the whole entire time that they're doing it, so then you're just like, you know what, I might as well do it.
Yeah, especially like being with a kid all the time, that's patience right there. So I feel like personally for me, I have so much patience with babies and kids, but when it comes to adults, I'm really not patient. Like I'm really impatient with adults. So I feel like if I had a husband and I know how to change diapers, like at this age, and I don't even have kids, you know how to change diapers, right? It's not really rocket science. And if I have a grown child, I guess it is, a man being like, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? Bro, just let me do it at this point. Like, at this point, you're doing way too much.
With my dad, with my sister, she had a baby. I went to go stay with her at the hospital or whatever. And she was trying to sleep and he was feeding the baby. The nurse came in and she's like, what are you doing? Like, he was feeding the baby, like, laying down or whatever. And this is a newborn baby, like 2-3 days old. Like, he was just doing every single thing wrong, and the nurse was just like, just like, what are you doing? And my sister got upset. So just like, you know, and I'm like, he's had obviously a lot of children. It's not his first time dad. How do you not know how to feed a baby? How do you not know how to do this? I feel like it's not because you don't know, it's because you probably were trying to get your way out of it, because there's no way.
Yeah. No, and especially like he's a grandfather.
He's a grandfather.
Yeah. He should know.
He should know. Like, are you just never gonna watch? Are they ever gonna leave you with the baby because you just obviously you don't even know how to feed him?
Yeah. Like, why is the sister, his daughter, you taking care of the baby and not him sometimes? Like, you know, like.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of men do that. They act like they don't know how to do things, and also like they view like being with their children, watching their children as babysitting. Yeah. And that's like what? It's your child. It's
your child. It's your obligation.
It's your obligation,
like, to be with your child. But yeah, they're like, oh, like babysitting for real. And I'm like, bro, that's your child. You live with that person. That's not babysitting. And yeah, they really, I don't know. And I feel like, because this one she said was morbid because it was like, will we trust to leave them if we die, right?
Yeah, if you die.
But I'm like, I just feel like I wouldn't be with someone if they wouldn't be my second option. Like, obviously, like, you know how when you write a will or something, like, you could put, like, if I die, this is where the babies are going to. But I think that's as a couple. But
I think it has to be as a couple.
Yeah. But, like, if it's, let's say, like, for me, just, like, if I died, like, if I would want, like, 50% with my mom or 50% with the guy, or, like, if we were broken up, I don't know. If I wasn't married with someone that I trusted that if I died my kids would go to, that'd just be insane. Like, I just feel like that's insane. Like, why are you married? Or why do you have a family with that person? Because at that point, it's like you're putting your kids and your love life, like, I mean, separate, yes, and it should go separate, but it's like you're putting their lives on, like, depending their lives on someone just because you love them, instead of someone that loves the kids as much as you do.
But I also think it's just that they don't think about, like, the situation. It's like they don't think that if anything happens to me, this is who my child's gonna
go to.
But they just probably think I'm gonna be here to do everything to take care of the kid.
Yeah, but that's when it comes to like those moms that get like a stepfather for the kids, and then the kids are like, we don't like the stepfather, and the mom's like, well, suck it up because I love him and that's it. And then sometimes those stepfathers are like really mean people, hitting the kids or like other things, right? And I'm just like, why would the mother, like, at that point she's putting herself above her kids' feelings. And I mean, like, yeah, you should do that sometimes, but like, it's like back to the first thing.
I don't think that's ever a thing that should be done. I think when you're a parent,
Okay, good. I think
Yeah.
neither, but I was like, maybe like that's what you're supposed to do. But I'm like, I'll put my child over me at any point.
Yeah.
Like,
Your child is very dependent on you. Like at first, babies they don't even know that they're separate from their moms. They think they're one person.
yeah,
So like, as a mother, as a parent, your child has to always come first. So if you're not ready to put somebody first above you at all times, do not have children.
Yeah.
So many people are too selfish, too impatient. That's why the kids are like the way kids are being raised right now. These parents are impatient. They don't have the patience for children. They don't have the capacity to love a child. They don't have the capacity to love somebody more than they love themselves.
yeah.
And that's the only thing. They only can love like grown men more than themselves.
Because they're
Like,
seeking
what?
man validation.
Yeah, man validation.
And then also like you should always love yourself over everything. But at the end of the day, like God forbid, let's say like it's me or my child, like someone is getting held at gunpoint, right?
Mhm.
And they shoot a bullet at my child, I'm jumping in front of that bullet. Like I love myself more. No, I don't love. I love that child more than me.
Yeah.
And I would always protect that child over myself. Like, and I feel like some parents would not.
So many, I've heard stories about people who basically left their children in like a very dire situation just to save themselves.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, I can have other children. But I'm like, then it's just like children, so like nowadays, maybe it's always been like this. People view children as property. They don't view them as people. You view them as like a doll. If you're saying I can have
Yeah.
other children, but I can't get like another wife, or I can, you know what I'm saying? Then those kids, what are they to you? They're not people. They're like
Yeah.
something to be played with. They're a play toy. Something to fill the time. Something you feel like you had to check off a box. That's why I don't like that. That's why I feel so bad for the children nowadays. Their parents, so many parents, they just don't know how to be a parent. They don't know what a child really means. They don't view children as human beings with autonomy,
Yeah.
that are able to make their own decisions,
Yeah.
personalities. They punish you for even having your own personality.
Especially because I feel like a lot of parents also like they're like, oh, I already know, I've already been through life, and I don't want you to make the same mistakes as I did. But at the end of the day, like you say, like they're gonna do their own mistakes because we did it. Like our parents tried to make us perfect. Like obviously we're always gonna want what's best for a child. But at the end of the day, they're gonna have to live through mistakes. They're gonna have to go through things to like experience and like learn rights from wrongs. Because even if we tell them like our parents told us, but still we went and did our own thing, and that's just like life. And I just also feel like a lot of people don't think about children as having the choice to choose things, or like more like we tell you what to do, like
Yeah.
like always like you live in my house, so you have to listen
It's
to
like,
me.
children are literally like captors, soldiers. They want you to just listen to rules blindly, follow everything, do everything they like.
Want
Like,
to,
want.
yeah.
They want to. I don't understand that. I feel like a lot of people have children just to have something to control, to have something to have power over. Because in this world, most people they don't have power. The only thing they have power over is their children.
Yeah.
And that's why children get beat sometimes. That's why oh my goodness, I hate people who put their hands on children. I hate beating kids. I never ever put my hands on any kid for punishment. And my cousins and my sisters, I really don't like it. I do not like it.
Yeah.
It's just, I just think it's very wrong. And there's a way to talk to children. They're like, to make them understand. They don't even understand hitting. It's like, you're the person that's supposed to be taking care of me, the person that's loving me. Why are you putting me in physical pain? They don't understand that. They're always so confused when that happens.
Yeah.
Like, they don't understand. And they be beating little 1-year-olds, little 2-year-olds. How are they supposed to know that's punishment?
But like it also like I'm just like, yeah, beating them is crazy. Like some of them like give them like I saw this TikTok about this little boy with a black eye.
That's
And-
just abuse.
And I'm just like, what? Like, what in your right mind thinks like, or like, they're like, yeah, he's gonna learn with this. He's gonna, what? You're beating a little boy up that can't fight you. Like, you obviously have some type of like psychological problem that you think like, It's like when bullies pick on the little ones, like, because obviously they can't fight.
Yeah.
Pick a fight with someone your size.
Literally.
Bro, fight someone, like, and sometimes they come home because they had a bad day. They had a fight with their significant other, and they're like, oh, or like most of them, like girls, like they're like, oh, I can't find anyone because I have you, like, and they take it on the kid. Excuse me? Like, sometimes I'm just like, bro, just put him. Well, no, I was gonna say just put them in like adoption centers, but like also like sometimes there is bad, but like just like why are you putting a kid through that?
It's because a lot of people, they don't have the ability to regulate their emotions. They have no patience, so when their child does something and it angers them, they take up the anger on the child instead of maybe walking away, you know,
Yeah.
leaving them alone for a while, calm down, and come back, talk about it, and give them a reasonable punishment. Take away something they want. Tell them, oh, because you did this, you can't go here, you can't go to the party with your friends. There's no reason to actually put your hands on the child because they cannot fight you. You're much bigger than them. And not only do they hit them with their hands or whatever, sometimes why is there whips that they hit their children with? Why do they take extension cords? Why do they take hangers? Why do they take all of this to beat their children with and leave marks all over their body? What is that? That is a slave?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Someone that I know used to get whipped with electrical cords.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who've done that.
And I was like, and I saw it happen. And I was like, God damn. Like, that is crazy.
Oh my god. I heard this horrible story. Maybe we'll put a trigger warning up here. Basically, because I'm like, this is sexual assault. This basically, I was watching a podcast and they were reading a story and it was like worst ways you've been punished, and it's like horrible things like having to stand on your knees on uncooked rice. That happened to my sister when she was a kid. She had to sit on uncooked rice with her. Not my mom's.
Yeah.
My mom didn't do it.
Yeah. She said, let me clarify that.
My older sister, her mom would make her sit stand on her knees on uncooked rice. I heard her tell me that. I was like, what the heck? That's crazy. And I would see all the little marks on her knees, and she would have to be on there for like.
It's a weird punishment, but yeah, it hurts. Yeah.
And so basically, this person was like, oh, their great grandmother, would put crushed ginger in their butthole as punishment.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but where did they come up with these punishments?
I have no idea. I'm
crushed
like,
ginger in her
this is torture.
For her to, no, I'm sorry.
That's sexual assault. That's
for that person to open the girl's butt or the boy's butthole and put ginger in it, that's insane.
I don't think it was one person. I think they had siblings, so it was like all of them. They put crushed ginger up their butthole. Can you imagine, like, why are you, as this old woman, stripping your great grandkids, crushing ginger, and spreading their butt to put ginger in their butt? Who are you? You're a demon.
Yeah, no, that's
And that's
crazy.
literally sexual assault, and she should be in jail, but she's probably dead.
Damn,
because that's so evil. They're so evil to children. It's like they're not able to be as evil as they want to adults.
Yeah.
So they just take out all their evilness on children. And then those children, they grow up, even though they think they're okay, they still have that same little spark of violence in them. Because that's why everyone's like, oh, it's okay, I can beat my kids. My parents beat me and I'm fine. No, you're not fine because you think it's okay to beat your kids.
Yeah, and that's not okay.
It's not okay. They like fantasize about beating their kids. You're like, oh my god, everywhere. If my kid does that, I'm gonna beat them. Oh, I can't. Like, I'm gonna beat my kids. They're so happy to talk about beating their kids. Their imaginary kids are not even alive yet. The first thing you're thinking about is beating them.
Like, my thing is that, bro, when I babysit or like when I look at those cute little faces, never am I like, oh, I can't wait to hit them. Or, well, I mean, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, how am I gonna look at something that came out of me, right? A gorgeous little child, and be like,
and hit them.
You're crazy. I've never even gotten in a fight myself.
Mm-hmm.
What am I gonna hit you if I've never hit a grown human being? Like, I think that's insane.
It's literally horrible. But we went on a tangent.
Yeah, sorry
guys. Alright, so fourth question. When you get married, do you trust him to put your feelings before his mother's? Yeah. I think it's a really important question because I think I've heard so many stories about mother-in-laws and how they're husbands, they always side with the mother-in-law. Even somebody said like even the ring she wanted, her husband got the ring his mother wanted for her instead of the ring that she wanted. But in the end, it turned out okay because he was just like he just thought because she was a woman and everything
She knew best.
yeah.
Okay.
And she ended up getting the ring that she wanted in the end. But there's still like many stories, especially in I guess like ethnic communities. I think that's a big thing in ethnic communities.
Yeah, and I think like mama's boys, they exist also like in Italian communities. I know they say a lot about that, but yeah, no, I think that would be a major thing for me. Like I just feel like bro, I feel like once you get married or once you get a family, it sounds harsh, but that's your new family. Like yes, you have a mom and a dad, and like I love my parents so much. But once I get a husband and I have kids, that's my priority. Like you used to be my priority. Like my mom always tells me like her priority now is my dad and me. And even though before it used to be my grandparents and like. But like that's just what happens when you decide to get married. Like you can't just be listening to like what they want or like their things when it's like it's me and him. We're a partner. Me and my husband are a partner. And then why would we have a third wheeler? Like I just don't understand that.
Yeah, and sometimes like the husband like participates in it, like the isolation of his wife or something. Like there was a story about this lady. She went on vacation with her husband's family, and they wouldn't invite her to dinner. So basically they're hanging out. The family paid for it or whatever, vacation.
Yeah.
And she sees her husband's getting ready, and she's like, "Oh, like where are you going?" He's like, "Oh, we're going to dinner." She's like, "Oh, I didn't know." He's like, "Oh, it's just a family thing." Mind you, she's married. She's his wife. We're on vacation together as a family, supposedly.
Yeah.
You guys are going out to dinner and you're leaving me out in a hotel room.
Nah.
So he went to dinner. He did not take her, even though she was like, "What is like that's so wrong?" She just packed her bags and left. And everybody got mad at her. They're saying that she was wrong for leaving.
Lady, if you're hearing this, you were not wrong for leaving.
Like so many people, and I also think it's the mother's fault. They are smothering. They're too overbearing.
Yeah.
And like, of course, if you grow up like that, you're never gonna see a problem with it. That's why I honestly have a problem with mom's boys. You can love your
mom too, bro.
I think everybody should love their mom, but don't be crazy, don't be weird.
Don't be weird, because at that point, it's like you're having a relationship with your mom.
And that's what it is. A lot of people are married to their mom.
And that's weird.
It's very weird.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, my mom is very, like, overbearing, I guess. Like, but, like, I'm not married to her. Like, at the end of the day, like, okay, you can tell me things, but, like, I just feel like mama's boys are, like, I'll put my mom over anything.
Yeah.
And, like, even if my wife is saying this is wrong, or, like, I hate moms that defend their sons and they're cheating. Or, like, yeah, and, like, they're like, no, it's fine. Anything he does is good. He's a perfect little boy. Obviously, the boys are going to think, oh, I'm a perfect little boy. My mommy's telling me this. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, you have to learn how to teach them right from wrong. Or, like, and I just, no, I don't like mama's boys because I think that's just, like, grow up. I think that's what
you're
it is,
child,
bro.
yeah,
grow up.
You're literally a child still if you go to your mom for like there's no problem having a relationship with your parents, but there has to be boundaries and it cannot affect your other relationships with other people. That's where it becomes an issue. It becomes a problem. Like how are you able to have a good, healthy relationship if your mother comes before your wife and your children? If your mother is making decisions for your children, that's what I have also a big issue. I cannot have my mother-in-law making decisions on my children. That's why you have to be careful who you marry with. And what family you marry into. The family is just as important as the man is. Like, that's a big thing. That's a good question, too. Because a lot of times, they could try and take your child from you. And I also need to know the family I'm marrying into because there's very, like, strict rules and ideals I want my children to have. There's a specific way I want to raise them, and I will not have people undermining that. Like, I want my children to be good, I want them to be respectful, and good people in society and want to help others, I can't be married, let's say, to a person whose family raised them to be maybe more selfish, who have selfish things, and they're teaching my kids that that's okay. Because oh my gosh, I was watching a show, and this lady, she was a horrible person, a bully, used to burn people with curling irons. I was like, what? All over their bodies, slap them, go to their house, punch them, make them strip their clothes. She ended up killing one person. She pushed, while bullying them, she set her clothes on fire and pushed her off the
At this point, she was a serial killer.
Yeah, she ended up killing
a sociopath. But
yeah, she did. She was a sociopath, and she never seen any problem with that. But she had a daughter, and her husband didn't know this about her. Her husband thought she was. Yeah. I mean, he probably thought she was not the best person in the world, but she thought he was a good person. She was very rich. He was also very rich. But that's why money sometimes makes people feel like they're untouchable. Yeah. And she had a daughter. Her daughter, the sweetest girl in the world. Her husband doesn't think his wife is a bad person. But the person she used to bully becomes the teacher of the little girl, and she's letting everyone know, like, no bullying, nobody would be mean, everyone would be kind and sweet in this place. The mom doesn't like that. The mom is like, it's trying to like make the kid more like her, talking to her about everything, about all bags are heavy, or she's like, she was talking about just money and stuff like that, and making the child want to be like,
Yeah, like I don't know how to say that, but like I have money, so I'm on top.
So I'm on top. She like wants her child to do that. She doesn't want her child to ever work hard in her life for anything, stuff like that. I don't want anyone to instill that in my kids.
Yeah.
To instill that they're better than other people because they have money.
Yeah, and especially like I feel like if it's family, like kids are also gonna be like, but that's my grandma or that's my grandpa. Like they're not gonna try to teach me wrong, or like, but that gets me mad too. Like I'm like, when I have my children, I'm sorry, like yes, you're the dad, and I know this is gonna be crazy what I'm about to say, but he came out of me or she came out of me. So on top of everything, they're gonna listen to me. Like I'm gonna make the rules. Like bro, it gets me so mad when the mother-in-law's like, you should name him this or you should name that. F off, lady. F off. It came out of me. I had that little baby in me for 8 months, 9 months, 9 months. It's mine. Like obviously not my property, but like bro, you're bugging if you think just because like you're the grandfather, you're the uncle, or you're the aunt that you're gonna tell me what to do with my child. Yeah, like that gets me so mad because I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you what to do with yours, so don't tell me what to do with mine.
You already finished raising yours or whatever.
Literally.
Go focus on other things. And that's why if I can't trust you to not put your ideals on my child, I'm not gonna send them around you. And then that's where we're gonna also have an issue.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like me, I'm not gonna like you because you finished raising your kids. It's my time now. And also, if you can't trust your husband to put you and the way you want to raise your child, like he could literally agree with his mother.
No, and the husbands could be like, oh mom, like I'm gonna leave you with the kids. I know she said don't give them candy, or I know,
give them candy.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
Like what are you saying? And then basically all the hard work you've put in is just gonna.
Yeah.
And they could also make your, if you don't have a good in-law, like families and in-laws, they could literally turn your children against you.
Yeah, because they're going to be like, but grandma gives me that, or grandma lets me do anything. I'm going to grandma's. Literally. She's not going to give me those big, little high heels. She can't catch me. Can't catch this, man. But like, no, for real, I'm like, no, that's not good. Or also like, when they're telling you like, oh, you shouldn't do that, or you're doing too much with your child, like, or Kris Jenner, the husband, hit one of Scott, and I don't know if it was a prank, but they told Scott and Courtney that the step grandfather hit one of her kids, and Scott was like, don't you ever put a hand on my children. Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
I would go to jail if one of the grandfathers or one of the anyone hit my child. Because if I'm not doing it, what makes you think you're doing it?
That's big things. I'm not gonna punish my children with physical punishment. So I also literally tell my parents. They're like, I'm not gonna watch your child then. I'm like, what do you mean you're not gonna watch my child? Because I don't want you to hit them. They're like, okay, what if they're like going crazy? They're like, your children are just gonna be running crazy in America. And
Yeah.
like, why is that the only way you know how to what's it called? And I'm like, okay, that's fine, you guys. I'm not gonna leave my kids with you guys if
Yeah.
you guys think that that's okay, because you're not gonna do it. If I'm not doing it, it's because I don't want my child to ever know physical pain from somebody that's in their family. I don't ever want that for them.
Literally, and I just feel like, sure, you did whatever job you think you did at parenting, or even if you're better, if you think in your mind like, oh, but I'm giving you advice because I love you and because I want to make it easier for you. Like, sure, you could give me advice, but don't try to implement it on me. I'm gonna do whatever like I think is best for my child, and that I feel like that's the worst part. Like, what was the question?
It's about mother-in-laws. Sorry,
Oh, it's okay, girl.
it's when you were married, do you trust him to put your feelings before his mother's?
Oh, yeah, I feel like that's the most significant thing of that question for me is when children are involved. Because like, if I'm telling you this is what I want and you have to tell your mother and you're gonna go behind my back and disagree with your mother, I think that's what it brings into this question. Like, would he put you over his mom?
That happens. A lady, she was pregnant. Her sister-in-laws and her mother-in-law, they all had the maybe natural birth, but she wanted to have she wanted to be medicated. Her husband went and told her whole his whole family that she was gonna do it unmedicated. She was gonna be like that, and she got so angry. She's like, "What are you doing? Like, this is my
choice.
My choice." He's like, "Yeah, but I just don't want you to be all whoopy when you're birthing, whatever. Like, they're strong. You could do it. You're strong." It's like, what? Now it's gonna become it's gonna become even more of a problem for them in the family, because now she has to go tell them, "I'm not doing this. This is."
And instead of the husband standing up, like, if you don't want a problem, because if a husband's like gonna put the mom before you, then you're gonna be the one that's gonna have to stand up for yourself, and then he's gonna be like, "But don't fight. It's not you versus my mom," but you're making it that way.
Yeah, you're making it you first.
You're supposed to be with me. Like, even if you don't agree, just be like, this is what she wants, so this is what she's gonna like.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with her. Like, become like, if you both settle on something, but don't go and tell like your mom, like, oh god, that pisses me off so much.
They're really horrible. You have to really watch who you get into bed with when it comes to marriage, and like what kind of family you're getting into, because you don't want that to impact your life in the future and your children, because it will. If you marry into the wrong family, it totally will impact you. But okay.
Next question.
If you couldn't work anymore, can you rely on him to be the sole breadwinner? I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think it's really important because it comes to like ambition and also like drive. Like, dating a guy, I feel like nowadays it's hard to find guys that have like that ambition or have that drive to be like, I feel like in my mom's time or there probably is still, but I feel also like it comes more from like when they come from different countries.
Yeah.
I feel like, right? Like, I don't know, like, but I feel like people from different countries that come here and they're like, the American dream, like, we're gonna work hard, we're gonna try our best. My goal is to be a provider for the family. And I feel like you really need that. Like, that was one of the advice my grandpa told me. He was like, you need someone that has ambition, someone that works hard, that wants to provide for family. Because I feel like nowadays they're like just really content where they are.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
That really is an issue, because literally in the world we're living in now, it's so easy to end up living on the streets. It's so easy to lose everything. If you have a chance to work hard and build something for yourself, you have to take it. You literally have to take it, because you don't know where you're gonna end up tomorrow. You can't be with someone who doesn't want to work, who doesn't want to better themselves. Because it's literally what we all have to do. We all have to work together ourselves.
Yeah, and like if something happens to me, the girl, I need to trust that he's gonna be like, no, my God, it's like, we're gonna keep going, instead of just like, well, we have bad luck. I don't know, man. Like, that's it. Like, I'll try my best, but like, not really. Like, you know. And I just think like a lot of people really don't ask themselves this question either when they're like trying to get married. Like, they're just like, oh, well, like, make money day by day, and they don't think about the future.
Yeah, I don't think, if I'm getting married with someone, we cannot be living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Like, we need to have a good, stable life. Like, I'm working so I can have a good, stable life.
Yeah.
So I need to be with someone who's working to have a good, stable life.
Yeah.
Like,
and they have to teach this in schools for
They
real,
definitely.
because I think a lot of people just don't know how to do anything. Like, they're like, well, this is how we're gonna live, paycheck to paycheck, but that's not the only way you could live.
like there's no way I could live like that.
Like, save some money, people. Save some money. Think about your future. Think about your kids.
But honestly, a lot of people just also don't have the chance. But if you do have the chance,
Yeah, that's true.
those are for people. We're talking about the people who do have the chance.
Yeah.
If you have it, take it. If you're living at your house or something with your family, you're not paying any bills, go to school, go learn something.
Mm-hmm.
Try and do something with your life, because like, do you see the world we're living in right now? You never know when things are gonna go wrong. Cost of living is going up every single day. My insurance was $500 when me and my family started. It's $1,000 now.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
for 3 cars. But also we have flood and fire and also house insurance.
Oh, okay.
But it was $500 for all of that before.
That's
we
crazy.
Started. Now it's $1,000.
Inflation.
And we told them about it, and they were like, "Oh, well, life is going on." I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, my mom was telling me that the other day. I was like, that's crazy with her.
Yeah, no, that's insane. That's a very important question.
That is very important. Okay, and last question. If the worst traits in him doubled or tripled in intensity, would you still want to be with him? I think that's also a really good question.
Yeah, because I think this is like about red flags that you see, and a lot of people, like, they meet someone, they fall in love, they're like, they see a red flag and they're like, oh, it's fine. I think it brings us to the first question about, like, or the second question, if we would change anything about them,
Yeah.
and falling in love with potential, because we're like, oh, it's fine, like, their worst traits are like bad, but they don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
And
I think too many people ignore things that are wrong with their partners because of all other good things. But if those are things get, like, their worst traits, even if they doubled in intensity, it shouldn't be something that would like break the entire relationship. You
Yeah.
shouldn't be with someone if their worst trait is like when they're drunk they get super mean.
yeah.
And if it doubled in, like, why are you with someone who gets drunk and super mean?
Yeah, because if it tripled in intensity, God forbid, you don't know what's gonna
You
happen.
don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not something I think you should overlook if they're always getting drunk and getting super
Yeah.
mean, or if they just get drunk maybe every single weekend and they get mean.
Yeah, but then I also think, like, what would be like a trait that if it doubled, it wouldn't be that bad.
Like something like, oh, you don't like that they chew with their mouth open,
Oh,
or
okay.
they snore,
Okay,
or
good.
like,
Yeah, sorry, I was really like, they're all bad, but yeah.
like, but like, it's like red flags tripling in intensity, and I think a lot of people, that's what it is. They're ignoring the red flags. They're compromising things they don't want to compromise, like in their subconsciousness.
Yeah, but I think they also compromise it because they're like, well, at least I'm with someone right now. Like,
Honestly, I don't even think that's what it is. I don't think a lot of people just want to be with someone, because if that was true, a lot of people out there would not be single.
that's
What
true.
it is I think it's like the potential thing. You see someone, you see the potential, and there is a part of you that wants to love someone. I think a lot of people want to love, they want to have physical affection, they want to have someone they can rely on, someone they can talk to, and I think it all plays into that. But it's not just like, I don't think it's really just like the need to be with someone.
Yeah. Yeah, they want to love that someone, or they want to believe, like, oh, I already invested this time in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna work. He's gonna change. The worst traits aren't gonna be that bad. But, like, they end up being that bad and worse. And you have to focus on the red flag girls, and you, or guys too. You have to listen to your family members, like, of course, or like family members or your loved ones. Of course, maybe some of them, they could be your loved ones, not like they're just snakes, right? But like most of them, I think, would want what's best for you, and you have to like put your feelings aside and really sit down and be like, I always ask myself, I'm like, if my mom saw me right now, would she be happy? Or like, if I was like my daughter, or if my daughter was in this situation, would I be happy with the guy that she's dating? or like would I be happy with how she's being treated? And I feel like that really puts it in perspective on how, like, if you for a second think like something she wouldn't like or things like that, I feel like then you really have to ask yourselves, like, is it worth it?
Yeah, I think it's true. I think you always, sometimes you just have to face the facts of like the relationship. Sit everything out, like pros, cons, everything. Honestly, every single time, I think what's good is that every single time something happens in your relationship, good or bad, you should write it down somewhere. Because I think a lot of the times, like I literally in the past, things will happen, I'm sad or I'm mad about it, but then good things happen. And then
you're like, yeah.
you forget the things that made you question the relationship. And I think it's really important to write them down so that you can know everything. You don't forget what made you question it. So you know, you can see like the whole entire thing written out in front of you and not be missing pieces. You can make an informed decision like, wow, all these good things weigh more than the bad, or do the bad way more than the good. And I think if the bad weighs more than the good, you gotta let it go.
Yeah, and the harsh truth is that I feel like a lot of people also see it and they know, they're like, damn, I should leave, but they're like,
I don't want to.
I
love them.
I love them. Yeah.
Spend so much time and money.
You
can work it out.
Family already met them. Like, even if they don't like them, like, why change it up on them? You know.
Yeah.
And also, like, in a weird way, I think like body count, like, oh, but like why? Like, you know, like a lot of people think about like, or not body count per se, but even like people that your family has met, like my boyfriend count, girlfriend count. Like, damn, I don't want to be seen like a crazy person just dating around. But like, if you know it's not good for you,
you gotta do what's best.
Yeah, always put your feelings above anyone else's.
Because honestly, it's just
except your child's.
Except your child. It's gonna become a waste of time.
Yeah.
Because like, what's the point of staying with someone now just to be good if it's gonna end up
future?
In the future, it's gonna end.
That's true.
And it's probably not even gonna end good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like, if you already don't see it like ending in marriage, then why are you dating that person? I truly think that. And I think that's how it ends in cheating, how it ends in just like wanting other things. Because you really just like, you're like, well, I'm dating him just because like we already spent this much time together, but I don't want to marry him, and then boom, you cheat on him.
Literally.
But yeah, that's it, right? The battery's about to die again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're on another source today.
We'll do it next time.
Yeah, we could do it.
Okay.
Well, thanks for watching, guys, or listening.
Yes.
So don't forget to subscribe,
Like,
comment, and see you next time
on Two Random Girls. Bye.